Okay, so now we're moving on to lesson 8.4 where we do the area of a triangle. There are 10 problems and there's two formulas that we use for area. For side angle side we have K, which our new letter for area is 1/2 AB sine of C, which would be, these are the angle included between sides A and B. When we have side, 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 the formula looks a little longer. It's got this new term in it called S. S minus A, S minus B, S minus C. That's the formula, all under the square root sign. And S is defined as 1/2 A plus B plus C. So the extra step when we have side, side, side. All right, so let's begin. And we'll use our calculator almost every problem. So let's see the first one. We have a side angle side situation. And so let's set up K equals 1/2 AB sine C equals 1/2 times 3 times 5 times sine of 40. Okay, so I'm just going to go 0.5 just to keep that clear, times 3 times 5 times trig sine 40, and I get equals 4.82, rounding to 2 decimal places. Okay, that was straightforward. Find the area of the K in the second triangle. We have a similar side angle side, so it's K equals 1/2 times 1 times 4 times the sine of 95. Okay, so let's just do this in our head. 1/2 of 1 times 4 is 2. So I'm just going to go 2 times sine of 95, and I get 1.99. All right, so those are two side angle side. Let's try one that's side, side, side. So we have A, B, and C here, 4, 5, and 6. So the first thing we're going to do is find what S is. 1/2 of A plus B plus C. All right, that's S equals 1/2 A plus B plus C, and that's going to equal 4 plus 5 plus 6, and divide that by 2, and I think we all know 7.5. Put that into our formula. We need a lot of space. Is all square root of 7.5 S. 7.5 minus A, so that's a 4. 7.5 minus B, which is 5. And 7.5 minus C, which is 6. All right, I'm going to do all of this in the calculator using my parentheses as best I can. So let's just see if it gets into focus, and even if I can enlarge it. So I'm going to go with square root of 7.5 times, I'm going to do those 7.5 minus 4, close parentheses, open parentheses. I wonder if it takes that. I'm going to go with the times. Parentheses 7.5 minus 5, close parentheses, times, open, 7.5 minus 6, close. All right, look at that. That's our formula. Every 7.5 is an S, and the other three numbers are A, B, and C. So let's see what that answer is. And we get 9.92. There we go. All right, looks like number 4, we're back to side angle side. So we have K equals 1/2 B, which is times 3, C times 5, sine of 85, which would be A, angle A. So let's do I'm going to use 0.5 for 1/2 times 3 times 5 times sine 85. We look at that, half of 3 times 5 times sine of 85, enter, and we get 7.47. And again, I don't know if you've noticed, the units are all square units, which makes sense for area. All right, number 5, we have 3 sides. So what are we going to do first? We're going to find our S. S equals 1/2 of 25 plus 7 plus 24. (25 plus 7 plus 24 equals this, divided by 2 equals S, and that's 28. Alright, so now let's lay out our K. Equals a big square root, nice and long, 28 times 28 minus 25 times 28 minus 7 times 28 minus 24. Okay, all the 28s are S's, and then we have sides 25, 7, and 24. One more time, we'll do this all under on the square root sign. So let's see if I can get us there. I think so. All right, control square root. 28 times parentheses 28 minus 25 close parentheses times parentheses 28 minus 7 close parentheses times parentheses 28 minus 24. Now it's cold outside, so I want to make sure my fingers didn't hit the wrong buttons. That all looks correct, so we will see what the answer is, and the answer was 84 square units. Nice and clean. And so it's 84, and this time they're asking us what units, and the obvious answer is it's square units. We don't know whether it's anything other than units because there's no dimension to it. All right, one more on this page. That's number 6. And we're going to use, now we have a different formula, so all we're just going to do is going to plug it in. So we have angle side angle, or angle angle side. So regardless, we've been given the formula, so let's just plug in, and then I'll use the calculator. So K equals A squared. A is 4, so that's 4 squared. Sine of B, 10 degrees. Sine of C. Well, we don't know C, so what do we know? What do we know? C is going to equal 180 minus 30 minus 10, or C is going to equal 140. So in fact, we do know C. If we know 2 angles, we know all 3. 2 sine of 30. Okay, make sure you understand where I got everything. This is A squared. Sine of 10, 10 was B. C was 140, which I got from subtracting A and B from 180. And then 2 sine of A, which was 30. So I'm old school, so I'm going to leave that there. I'm not going to do 4 squared. I know it's 16. So 16 times sine of 10 times, back up, tab, times sine of 140, tab, divided by parentheses 2 times sine of 30, close parentheses, just to be clean. And I hate it when it does that. So let me try one more time. Let's see, what happened was my calculator just doesn't want to calculate. 16 times sine 10 times, back it up again, tab, times sine of 140, tab, divided by parentheses 2 times sine 30, All right, let's see. 16 times sine of 10 times sine 40 divided by 2 sine 30. And this time I'm going to get an answer, 1.78. Let's see, 1.785, so it's actually going to round to 1.7879 square units. All right, let's look more at applications. All right, here we go. So we have a triangular lot that has, well, let's just draw a little triangle here. We have 194 by 123 by 191. And we need to know not only what the area is, but the lot cost. So this is going to be a two-step problem, or three-step if you count calculating S. So S is equal to 1/2 194 plus 123 plus 191. And that all equals 194 plus 123 plus 191 equals, divided by 2. So S equals 254. K is going to be quite a long number because there's lots of digits, so let's give ourselves some space. K equals the square root of, nice long square root. So 254 for the first S, 254 minus 194 for second term, factor 254 minus 123, and lastly 254 minus 191. Okay, so there's our formula. Now again, this is area, and we're not done when we finish this, so let's hold all our excitement until we're finished. So let's go with square root of, take a big breath, 254 times parentheses 254 minus 194, close parentheses, times parentheses 254 minus 123, close parentheses, times parentheses 254 minus 191, close parentheses. Check it all out. All looks good. Now we've got a number that's 11,214 plus a little bit, and the cost per square foot is $3. So we're going to multiply that by 3, and we will get the total cost of the lot, which would be $33,644 and 93 cents. Okay, so there we go. We found that cost of that property. Let's move on to the airplane. I've done this one 3 different times, and I always get the hundredths decimal place a little bit off each time, so do your best. It might round a little bit depending on your calculator. So we have it looks like a right triangle, but I'm not going to make any assumptions. So this would be 7.07, 3.75, 7.85. So, like I said, I'm not making any assumptions, so I'm going to have to use the Heron theorem. So we're going to find S equals 1/2 7.07 plus 7.85 plus 3.75. And that equals 7.07 plus 7.85 plus 3.75 divided by 2, and I get an S is 9.335. I'm going to just leave it there. And this is where the rounding goes. I should put this as equal to 9.34. Give it a second to focus. there we go, we're back into focus, and we're back in the game. Alright, so here we go with, and all we need to do is the area, so we're going to use K equals S 9.34. Now each of the factors, 9.34 minus 7.07 times 9.34 minus 7.85 times 9.34 minus 3.75. Kind of went over there. Hopefully everything stays in, so let's see if I can get this all in the same visual. Okay, there we go. So control square root. S is 9.34, 9.34 times, parentheses, 9.34 minus 7.07, close parentheses, times, parentheses, 9.34 minus 7.85, close parentheses, times, parentheses, 9.34 minus 3.75, close parentheses. Let me see if I got them all right. Good. And I get 13.288 or 13.29. So 13.29, and it's going to be square meters because we're doing this in meters. All right, let me make sure you can see that whole problem before we move on. And just if I had done this as the right triangle, it would have been 1/2 base times height, and that would have been 1/2 base of 3.75, height of 7.07. I wanted to show you what happens here. 3.75 times 7.07 times 0.5. 13.26. And the book says 13.24, so you can see that all of these are very close, and this probably is a right triangle. It's just the rounding has given us the 13.29. Okay, let's move on to home plate. Alright, so here's the dimensions of home plate for a random baseball field in the United States. So let's find the area. First of all, this is a composite shape. We'll do a rectangle and a triangle. The rectangle, so the area of the rectangle equals base times height, so 8.5 times 17 equals 8.5 times 17 on 44.5. Alright, now the triangle has, what's an isosceles triangle? We see that it's got a, two sides are 16 and the other is 17. So we're going to find our S equals 1/2 16 plus 16 plus 17, and that equals 49 divided by 2, or 49 divided by 2, 24.5. Now let's do our K for the triangle. I'll put this down here so we know what we're doing. Big square root 24.5 times 24.5 minus 16 twice. I'm just going to put a square there, times 24.5 minus 17. So that shouldn't be hard for us to do with the calculator. So let's do, everything's visible, control square root 24.5 times parentheses 24.5 minus 16, close parentheses, squared, times parentheses, 24.5 minus 17, close parentheses. Okay, so I basically have this term twice, the S and the 24.5 minus 17, and I get 115.22, 115.22, and it's going to round us to 2 decimal places, so that was a 0 back here. So I'm going to add that to 144.50, which was the area of the rectangle part, and I get an approximate area of 259.72, and this was measured in inches, so these are square inches. All right, last one. All right, we have a triangle building. The 3 sides are 3 streets, so the streets, I'm not going to assume they're 90 degrees, but they probably are. Let's see, 177 on one side, 95 on one side, and 196 on the third side. So what do? We find out S. First, are you getting the idea that a lot of these architectural ones are more about the sides than there are about the angles? 1/2, 95 plus 177 plus 196. So S equals 234. All right, let's do our K. Give myself lots of room. K equals the square root of 234 for S, 234 minus 95 for one side, 234 minus 177, and 234 minus 196. There we go. That's our K formula. Let's put all that in the calculator. I can see it. All right, square root 234 times parentheses 234 minus 95 close parentheses times parentheses 234 minus 177 close parentheses times parentheses 234 minus 196 close parentheses. Check it out. Alright, hit enter, and I've got 8,393.53. Did it say 2 decimal places? Yes. And this is in feet, so feet squared. Square feet. So there we have all of the columns for 8.4 in the area of a triangle.